Hey guys, what's up? I am Kevin, and welcome to the very first episode of Wandering on the Way. This is a vlog about our journey buying and restoring the Vintage, who is a 1974 Pearson 35, currently moored in Massachusetts, taking her from her current state and turning her into a blue water cruiser so that we can hopefully take you guys along with us as we have some longer term adventures, maybe first in the Caribbean and then, who knows, circumnavigation, long-term cruising overall. We'll see. 2020 was tough for everybody, and it really hit home in a big way for us. Joy is a nurse practitioner, and at the start of 2020, she fell ill with COVID back in March before there was really any significant information or research into what that would mean. And she's also someone who got sick, and although we were both very healthy, stayed sick for most of the year. And in the process of going through that convalescence, we had the opportunity to talk a lot about what we wanted our life to look like and what kind of adventures we wanted to have. We're not at the point yet where we could just get on the Vintage and disappear into the sunset. But we're kind of excited to be in this place where we are looking at a boat that needs some time and love and care, and in doing so, giving us the opportunity to become better sailors ourselves. Now, we have a little bit of experience. We spent a week sailing off of Nantucket, both formally through the Nantucket Sailing School, but also on the Point Jude, which is a smaller sailboat owned by the captain of a motor yacht that is moored out in Nantucket's mooring field. And we spent a couple of summers renting it for a week on Airbnb and staying aboard and discovering that we really loved being on the ocean. And we were deeply inspired during that time by watching a lot of Sailing Uma. So we saw Dan and Kika buy, in their case, I believe a 1972 Pearson 36-1. And what's interesting about the Pearsons, both the 35 and the 36, is that we have some personal connection. So the P35, like the P36, was designed by William Shaw. And Bill Shaw lived down in Rhode Island and was actually neighbors with one of my uncles. And my uncle was a sailor in his own right, and they ended up owning a Pearson Ensign for many, many years. But because of that close family connection to Bill Shaw, when we bought the 35, which we didn't know when we started looking, we learned about this family link to the designer of our boat. And so it made it a little bit easier as we spent the summer exploring up in Maine at Casco Bay and down in Cape Cod and Chatham and other places, looking at different possible purchases. It made it easier for us to fall in love with the Vintage. Now, the Vintage is a special boat. She was down in Florida, and she was owned by a woman who had her as a live-aboard. And this woman was quite a good sailor, but her life had taken her into various kinds of underwater robotics engineering, and so her job would have her move around a bit. And she landed up in Massachusetts and brought the Vintage up, had her trucked up, actually. And then she was essentially a floating apartment for a year while this woman was working and going out to sea for her professional career. And she realized that the Vintage was not getting the use it should see, and it was also fairly expensive to keep the mooring or the dockage fees up. So she looked to sell it and did so. And when we started looking, there were a couple of things that were really appealing about her. One was she's exactly the right size. The second is that she's classic plastic. She's from pre-Iran-Contra era fiberglass construction when they overbuilt boats and hulls. So she's really thick hulled, and she's monohull, which we wanted, and very sea kindly. So she will sail at a heel, and we haven't gotten her out super fast yet, but my understanding is that both the P35 and the P36 like to be around 30 degrees. But she's also very stable, and she has a swing keel. So we're able to bring her a little bit closer to shore, but then we can drop down and get that deep draft that comes with the sea, with the swing keel. So we're really excited about this. She does have some things that need a little TLC. And so over the course of this summer in addition to improving our own sailing skills and probably taking some lessons, we're going to be undergoing a bunch of different maintenance and refit tasks. Just currently got the mast off, and we're having new standing rigging installed, and we're looking forward to having that done this spring. And then I'll be removing the tow rails and completely replacing them, probably with plastique, which is a synthetic teak material, because they've just degraded. And a lot of the other bright work, I think, will be salvageable, but we'll be working on that. There's a bunch of places where there's just little things that concern us, like there's wire nuts being used in some of the electrical runs, and I'll be replacing those properly. The head needs to be completely redone, and we're looking at having a opportunity to tear that apart and put a new head in. And then there's creature comforts that, as you can see, is probably a more cosmetic upgrade, but getting rid of some of this 70s feel that pervades the boat and making her a little bit cleaner and more modern. We're not architects. I work in technology and Joyce and NP, but as you can see, we actually built a cabin by hand in the woods of Vermont 6 or 7 years ago, and we still have it and love it. And we have some DIY skill as a result and some tools, and we're comfortable rolling our sleeves up, but we also know our limitations, and in some places, given our place in life, we'll probably be handing some of the work off to others who are experts. We are contemplating, for example, a repower, and we'll probably have somebody help us with that if we decide to replace the current MXP 25 engine that is in the boat. Anyways, the point of this entire vlog series will be us going through that experience and hopefully having some fun doing it. Really glad you guys are here and excited to go on this adventure with you. Click subscribe if you want to follow all of our updates. Give us a like. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and we'll answer them. See you next time.